Good evening and welcome to the 16th annual virtual open house. We have all of the school districts and institutes participating in the national initiative connected to our conference this evening. I'm here with the national seminar leaders in the initiative offices overlooking the New Haven Green and the Yale campus. Ian Shapiro will describe his seminar on politics and public policy in the United States. Ian?
Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be returning to the Teachers Institute again this summer. I taught some of you I see up there last year, and I had a hiatus of almost a decade, but was involved in teaching in the Teachers Institute some time ago, but I enjoyed coming back last year and I'm delighted to be back this year. As Jim indicated, my seminar will deal with politics and public policy, and I think it's important to do that because so much of the scholarship and prognostication about public policy is innocent of the politics that are necessary to actually adopt public policies that are going to be implemented. The U.S. has a political system that in many ways is dysfunctional from the point of view of enacting laws to produce good public policy. So, for example, every other advanced democracy has universal health insurance, most all of them single-payer systems, yet we have tried and failed to create that for decades in the U.S. Presidents have tried, and the final partial success was achieved by President Obama in the first Obama term, 2010. But even that was partial in its coverage, and much of it has subsequently been threatened to be undone by the Trump administration. If we think about how we might get to a more universal system, you have plenty of complaints about what we have, but very little discussion about how we might actually get there. A second set of issues has to do with the fact that many of the, if not all of the students you are teaching are facing a very different world than the one we grew up in. For much of the post-World War II era, people were educated for a lifetime in high school or perhaps through a college degree, and then they would join the workforce and they worked often in one job until they retired. This world no longer exists. Most people graduating from college today should expect to change jobs between 12 and 15 times during their lifetime. And they're going to need, at the age of 35 or 40 or 50, to develop new skills that they don't have and didn't get earlier in life. And so many of the advanced democracies have pretty robust schemes of retraining workers to enable them to keep up with the demands of an ever more rapidly changing economy. Again, the U.S. here is laggard. We have very little in the way of effective retraining of workers for the ongoing dynamics of the economy. A third area is savings for retirement. Most Americans have virtually no savings, making them critically dependent on Social Security. But just as permanent employment is going away, many workers in the future will not be fully vested in Social Security, even if it continues in its present form. So again, thinking about new ways of preparing people to be able to survive over the course of a lifetime in this kind of economy is extremely challenging. I've spent much of the last decade or so working on the relationship between politics and public policy, and particularly with an eye to what sorts of policies can actually be enacted in the American political system, and how might they move public policy in better directions. And that's sort of the basic focus of what I will be doing. We will focus on issues like health insurance, workers' education and re-education over the course of an adult lifetime, and thinking about income security for people once they leave the workforce. But those are only examples of what we will be covering. What I like to do in the National Institute is take advantage of the gap between the May meetings, this will be the 1st and 2nd of May this year, and the July seminar, to craft the substance of the syllabus around the interests of teachers. So depending on the social policy interests of the teachers that I learn about from you both in your applications and then in the meeting in May, I will tailor some of the syllabus for July to cover those topics. And then finally, I should say just preemptively, because the issue has come up, this seminar does have some significant overlap, at least in some of the readings we will be doing in the 2 weeks in July, with the seminar that I did last year. So it probably is not a good idea for people who took the seminar with me last year to take this seminar this year.